Okay, first of all, I would like to greet all of you for connecting today. My name is Fausto Brevi, and I'm here to talk on the specializing master course in transportation and automobile design. I'm the director of this course, and so I will introduce you the contents and the organization of the course. After my introduction, we will host Cesar Pieri, that it has been a student of this master, and currently he is exterior chief designer at NIO in Munich, in Germany. At the end of our talks, we will have a short session on how to apply and how the selection happens, managed by Alice Pignatel, that is the master course coordinator. And we will have also a question and answer session. So feel free to write in the question and answer space any question at any time, and we will reply at the end of our talk. So let me start telling you and showing you something here. The next course, it will be the 14 here that it will happen. And let me say that the course is named Transportation and Automobile Design, but you will see often an acronym that is TAD, that we are used to say as TAD, but is simply the acronym of Transportation and Automobile Design. Indeed, here you can see that the title is Master TAD. Master TAD is a specializing master course in car design of Politecnico di Milano. Politecnico di Milano in Italy is a well-known university founded more than 150 years ago. It's a technical university that trains engineers, architects, and industrial designers. In the QS World University Rankings by subject, this year Politecnico di Milano is the third in Europe for art and design subject. As already I told you, TAD course is a Politecnico di Milano specializing master course, and it's run by POLI.design consortium, a consortium founded by Politecnico di Milano. That's due simply to the general organization of design activities managed by Politecnico di Milano, globally known as POLI.design system. This course releases 60 CFU, equivalent to 60 ECTS, and a Politecnico di Milano degree. Currently, we are running the 13th edition, and we have hosted more than 180 students, mainly from Italy, but really from all over the world, with a very good placement in the transportation design world. Anyway, let me explain some goals, and you will see also some images taken from the exhibition that every year we organize to highlight and to show the final thesis projects developed by the students. Our goal is to form a designer who, of course, who develop their own creativity, working and living an experience like the entire process of that happen in an automotive style department. is mainly designed for hosting students coming from a degree in industrial design, engineering, or architecture that want to be involved in a career in the automobile design or anyway in the transportation design world. So it's a postgraduate course. The bachelor degree is the minimum requirement. Of course, you can have also different, you can already have another master degree if you like, and so on. But the minimum requirement is to already have a bachelor degree. And so it's it has been designed as a pathway to focus your studies and your skills in for being able to approach a professional world like the automobile design is. We will use also some facilities at the design department of Politecnico Milano, such as, for example, you can see in this image the prototype laboratory in which you will be able to use the clay models and to set up the physical models of your projects. And you can see in this slide in the upper left corner, one of the students working on his model. The basic idea is that there are many more profiles in the transportation world, professional profiles than usually known. So our goal is to train you on all of these, because maybe you never realized that you can be so interested, so involved, or simply so good in one of these professional profile, because a lot of people is used to think about transportation design or car design just thinking to draw the body shape of new cars. That is the typical activity of the exterior designer, but at the same time there are several other professional skills that are required. First of all, the interior designer, because the interior part of a vehicle is a challenging design, and it's even more interesting in recent years because of the change due to the electronics in the interior part of the car. That means the infotainment, but also the human-machine interface and a lot of different stuff, even more in the next future when the autonomous cars will grow in importance. Then there is the color and trim designer. That is the designer involved in the choice of textile, of the exterior paints, interior textures, later decorations, graphics. It seems to be a secondary part, but instead is a very critical and very crucial and strategic job. Visual designer is the designer involved in creating images, graphics, virtual reality, 3D rendering, animation, and all the images that coming out from a styling department, because a lot of projects are secrets from an industrial point of view, so you cannot ask to external professional to attend to these jobs. Surface designers are two different categories because currently there are physical surface designer, that means people involved in building physical models mainly with clay, but not only with clay. And also a great importance is in the hands of surface designer for digital models, because all the design process is based on a digital base today. Last but not least, the user experience designer, that is the designer involved in the human interface interaction in designing the user experience and the infotainment. This is, as I just told you, is a quite recent professional profile, but is very useful, and there is a lot of interest from companies looking for this kind of professional skills today. So let me spend a few minutes about the course structure. The course structure is based on didactical activities that will start in the mid of March of next year, in 2022, and it will end at the end of May of 2023, because it is a course that is 15 months long. And during the last part of the course, the best students may be selected for a short internship in a company, but students who will not be selected for the short internship will stay at school and will develop additional activities to enhance their design skills and for being ready at the end of the course. The end of the course is based on a final exam that is basically focused on the presentation and the discussion of the project developed as the final thesis project in the car design studio didactical unit. These are the didactical units available in the master course. You can see there are three main pillars. That is a basket of professionalizing didactical units, a group of didactical units focused on tools and techniques, and others on theories and methods, because anyway we are a university environment, and we believe that we need also to understand why some stuff happens. In the professionalizing didactic units, there is the car design studio, that is the main units were focused on developing the final thesis project. That is typically a global project with exterior, interior, color and trim, physical model, digital model, and everything is the units in which you will put together all the knowledge that you have collected before. At the beginning, there are other didactical units more specific. One, for example, is focused on teaching you how to design the exterior of a vehicle. Another one is focused on the interior, has two separate parts for understanding very well where are the critics part and the strategic part of this activity, and for being able to put all together in the car design studio. There is also a focus on portfolio empowerment for putting you in able to create a portfolio that is able to introduce you in the transportation design companies. There is a didactical module. It's a small one, but it is important because it is the IP law in automotive design. IP means intellectual property law, because it's just for having an understanding of your rights and your duty when we will be involved in the automotive world, automotive design world. And another interesting stuff is the creative group empowerment. That is a unit based on training you on how to work in a creative group of people, because when you will be in a company, you will be involved working in a group, and that doesn't mean that your group will be only with your friends. Maybe there will be someone that could be also a friend of you, but not necessary. For tools and techniques, there are different tools. Some of these are mainly focused for the digital world, so the alias modeling for car design, because alias is the software. This is a sort of standard, de facto standard in the transportation design world. Multimedia tools for car design means the tools that are used usually in the virtual room for checking, for presenting the project. Adobe tools and presentation techniques for car design are instead two modules focused on how to present your project, your idea at their best. So a couple of examples, once again, from recent years thesis projects. This was an autonomous vehicle for a luxury brand. And, okay. And this was another project. This was a very nice project designed for a future that we hope not to face, but that could happen in few years. Imagine that the climate change will create problem to coastal cities because of the level of the water, of the seaside water. And so, for example, this project was designed thinking to a city like Amsterdam, in which already today there is a connection between the street and the water because of the several channels. But if the water of the seaside will grow, the water could go also on the current streets. And so we will need to have vehicles that will be able to run on a normal street, but also on a low level of water. Of course, not to navigate in the ocean, but to be able to run also on a sort of not really the channels, but the standard street with several centimeters of water. So this was my introduction and my general presentation. I hope to have been able to explain you the most important things of this course. But of course, feel free to write any question. And I think that I can introduce Cesar.
Sorry, Professor Brevi. There is a little question about why alias and why Autodesk alias as a CAD?
Exactly for the reason that I already explained, that is the de facto standard in every car design department of car manufacturer. Okay. So it's not a CAD software for engineering, is not a software used in the engineering departments, but is absolutely the best in class in the design departments of the automotive makers company.
Thank you so much.
I see the reply. Penso che lo standard sia ISEM. No, Giacomo, it's true and not true. ISEM is used in the very last piece of the design process, the building of what is named the Class A final model, that is the freezing of the design before moving the design to the engineering department. But all the design stuff has been and is done using alias.
Thank you so much. You can proceed.
Cesar, up to you.
Hello everyone. First of all, Professor Brevi, thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be here talking to everyone about my experience and sharing a little bit of what happened in the past few years and what happened mainly during my time at the TAD master program, right? I would like to say that being a car designer is a complicated thing. So I was having lunch, so I had no time to head back to the studio. So if there's any background noise or anything like that, is because I'm kind of still in the middle of the process. But it's just let me know if there's too much noise, and I try to find some place that is a little bit less loud. But okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the past, first of all. As every one of you, I assume we always dreamed about being car designers, right? It's a passion. It's something that touches our kind of mindset all the times, that you want to be creative. You want to share kind of that feeling that you have about the future. You want to express that kind of what only you can see, something that it's in there in your brain. Hold on. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got the screen black here. So we always have these dreams, this desire to share what we feel and what we are creating. And sometimes it's very difficult, right? Because it's there somewhere. So you need to translate those forms and shapes into a piece of paper, right? I call it, I say that, for example, we need to speak a lot of different languages, right? I speak Portuguese, Italian, English. I think at TAD, at the master at Politecnico di Milano, I learned something really beautiful. That was another language that I call it Designish. Designish is the beautiful language that allows you to translate what only you can see. It's there somewhere into a piece of paper, into a 3D model, into a Photoshop render, into something that will kind of allow you to sell your idea. So this is the most important thing. I started studying architecture in the beginning, right? So I did a few years of architecture. Then I transferred my course to industrial design, this back in Brazil. And I've always kind of felt I was working as a product designer and graphic designer, and worked in the USA, worked in Brazil, in Italy, in different places. but I always had the feel that was something missing to my career. There was kind of that little bit that would allow me or create the bridge that will allow me to go into the automotive design field. I've been designing wheels, I've been designing automotive related stuff, but never really into the kind of real car design studio. So what happened back in 2009, I think, Fausto, right? If you correct me if I'm wrong, I was living in Lucca in Tuscany, where my family's from. My family's from Lucca in Tuscany. And I decided to stop everything that I was doing and go for my dream. So I said, I want to become a car designer. I want to fulfill my passion. And I did a lot of investigation and kind of like probably you guys are doing, and kind of trying to understand the program here, try to understand what this can offer me, this course or that course. And at that moment, I went to Milan. I met Professor Brevi, Fausto, and we had a long conversation. I remember that. And I said, that's it. This is the place that I need to go. And I must say that about 10 years after, it was one of the most important decisions that I did in my life. And it changed my life. It changed my career, because I thought that I used to speak designish. Actually, I didn't. Design is much more than just styling. It's just more than kind of imagining beautiful things. It's about solving problems. It's about really understanding how you can combine engineering and how you can express your idea, fulfilling all the requirements that the car design industry kind of charges you when you're kind of trying to do something. And I think this was the kind of the most important thing that I learned at the POLI.design program, because it wasn't only about sketching or becoming a sketch monkey, as we like to say, kind of was really understanding how a car is built. It was really kind of understanding that you can design anything, but not everything is allowed, right? So understanding that, I remember talking to Mario Favila, that is one of the persons that I kind of love more in this whole path of becoming a car designer. Kind of he coming to me and saying, yeah, you can do anything, but you must do the right thing, right? It's not only sketching, it's not only doing beautiful things, it's understanding what you're doing. And I remember when we were doing in the clay, we were in the clay studio at Poli, and he said, oh, you know what? This is good, but your hood, the bonnet that you're designing is really crap. So you need to go for it. You need to kind of understand how to make it better. And kind of, I found encouragement from him to kind of just go dig that again, restart, and learn that the process is about trying, is about understanding where you can kind of improve here and there, how to communicate brand values, how to have that creative power that will allow you to go into the market later on, doing an interview in a design studio, and kind of being ready, because this is the most important thing. You can be really good about sketching, but if you're not really ready to answer what a professional environment will require from you, you will never get the job of your dream, right? I don't know if I can share my screen here. I'll try to share screen. Start broadcasting. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, look at that. So I don't know, can you see my screen? Or not?
Yeah. We can see. We can see.
So can you see my?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So after let's go back to the beginning here, right? So again, as I mentioned to you all, I did. I worked as a cars modeler actually for Santander Bank. I did industrial design in Brazil. I studied architecture. I did a little bit of Harvard, and then I have a lot of different experiences in the U.S. And then in 2010, boom, I met the magic place that transformed my life. That was the Politecnico di Milano. So at that moment, I started developing what kind of I've become. So I had the kind of really great opportunity. At that time, we had a partnership with Group Fiat in Turin, right? So I managed to get an internship at Turin and in Turin at Officina 83. And at that moment, I worked at Ducato, right? The restyling of the Ducato. I've been doing a little bit of further work later on. I moved to Austria by the invitation of Gerd Hildebrand to work in a different brand. And I did, meanwhile, some tanks and military vehicles for the Hungarian army. This is just a sketch. But again, in 2011, I ended up going to Cohos in England, in Germany and Austria, where we created these first models, right? I think hopefully you can see it, you know. So these are one of my first sketches that gave light to that kind of first vehicle. And by the way, this is my portfolio. It's a scroll down portfolio, as you can see, for iPad. So I hadn't, in the middle of the afternoon here, I had no time to get to a computer and a PowerPoint to share with you, but I think this can illustrate. And then I joined in 2012, I joined Jaguar as a creative design manager for the production design studio and later on for the advanced design studio, where I had the chance to start working on the 152 project, which is F-Type, right? So I worked on the whole family for the F-Type coupe convertible. I did some concept cars with Jaguar. I worked on the F-Pace, I-Pace. And then you can see here that our work is not only kind of creating sketches by hand or kind of super cool Photoshop renders. Our work really is to understand what's the brand DNA and how to communicate those ideas in the best way possible. Like, for example, with this headlamp, working with engineering, trying to bring new technologies and translate that into production items, right? All right. So some kind of loose sketches here, some kind of pen sketches for interior. As you can see, some sketches for steering wheels, seats, further investigation. And then again, some sketches here that I've done during the development of the 762, which is the F-Pace, and then later on X260, which is the XF. All right. So just some kind of a little bit of my work, but again, the most important thing of all this, and I hope you can see me again. Can you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So is that kind of all these tools, all the path, and all the kind of the creative power to represent these ideas, I find and I learn during my master degree. Because again, as an industrial designer, you have a little bit of a comprehension of what the automotive industry is, but was missing the magic, was missing really kind of how do I get there? So someone asked about ISIM or Alias or VRED or whatever, but every single part of the process is really important. So the very quick sketch that you do in a piece of paper with a biro, just a pen, then translating, evolving that idea into a Photoshop render, then translating quickly that in a sketch model made in Alias, right? Understanding how to work with modelers to develop that idea into a further level, getting that idea milled in a scale model or a full scale model in clay, working with the CAS modelers, with the clay modelers and the CAS modelers at the same time to develop that idea, bringing engineering and kind of, again, not doing only styling, but really solving problems, right? Kind of to put that idea into production, and of course respecting all the requirements from PED Pro, from all the tooling and feasibility aspect, and then hopefully seeing your product in production. So I think I remember going through every single of those aspects and steps during my master degree, kind of learning sketch with my one of our professors who taught me how to kind of really evolve my ideas. Then learning how to translate that into a 3D, right, model. Then learning how to clay that I can work with clay to evolve that idea, to understand the forms and shapes into a kind of real physical property, a scale model. And then of course, going into a presentation mode where we get that clay, where we get the final property and you dress it to a final presentation. So the whole learning path that I had during my master's degree was exactly the same learning path that I met after years later into the industry in a real design studio. So that's why I'm here actually to kind of share with you that amazing experience, that learning experience actually replicated completely the process that I would face in a few years ago, right? Or in the following years, and as I'm facing now. So again, I've been working for different companies. Now I'm at NEO as a chief designer for the exterior department, working in a different program. I can't say, of course, what I'm doing, but kind of really extremely exciting part of my career. Right, I've been in England, I've been in Italy, I've been in the US in the past few years, and let's say in the past 5-6 years. And again, I'm really happy to be back again now in Germany, working in a process like that. And I will be always grateful to and rely on everything that I learned from our TAD program. So I think this is what I can say. Probably you guys have a lot of questions and would like to know more about it. So that's it from me. So Fausto, what do you think? Should I cover any further topic or yes?
No, Cesar, that's fine, and we will see if some of the attendees will have any question for you.
Okay,
but,
yeah, sure.
I wanted to thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Again, I apologize by the rumor in the background. I had no time to get back to the studio,
but there was no noise at all. You were perfect.
Okay.
So let me introduce Alice for the last part of this presentation with some technical information about how to submit and some bureaucratic things about the course. Please, Alice.
Yes. First of all, thank you to all the attendees. I'm sharing the screen just a moment so that I can go back to the presentation and see. Okay. Sorry. Oh, condividisco. Okay. Sorry, just a moment. Okay, sorry. Since few of you asked about that, and that was the plan anyway, I'll be telling you something about the application and the selection, how it works. And what Cesar said is the perfect asset for me to say what we expect to see in the selection. And first of all, I'd say we expect to understand, to see and understand your passion, your interest for this field. Since of course, the selection process will be done according to few parameters and few documents you will be sending. The most important part of the selection will be done with a portfolio from you. And as you may see, we have 2 requests actually in the portfolio, since we are expecting slightly different things according to your school background, since application is possible if you are coming from the design field or the architecture or the engineering schools. And of course, we are expecting different portfolio coming from different students. For students who did already school in design and architecture, we are expecting to have a portfolio with projects done during their school courses. And they are definitely useful for us, even if they are focusing on different topics than car design or vehicle transportation design, because it's interesting for us to understand a bit of your background, so what you did and the approach you have to the process. So if you did product design, for instance, and you have some projects you did in your school related to product design, it's interesting for us to have an overview of what you did, how you did it, especially because this tells us about your mind process, your approach to the design problem, and that's definitely something that you need to include in the portfolio you are sending for the selection. A second part of the portfolio is common to all the application we will be receiving, because it's about your skills and representations. So we need from you drawings, especially drawings, not only drawings. If you are used already to 3D modeling, for instance, or sculpting, you build a maquette, physical maquette, and you know how to give shape to 3D physical model. It's interesting for us to know about that. And a great part of that portfolio needs to focus on vehicles drawings, so transportation field. Those kind of drawings doesn't need to focus on projects you did, so something you fully developed, but they must also speak about your passion for that work. If you are passionate, you are definitely used to draw a lot. As Cesar said, you have a lot of ideas in mind, and in some ways you want to share them with the others. So you are definitely drawing a lot, even if not in a structured way. So it's not a project. It doesn't have any guidance or relation to something you did for companies, for school or anything. It's something we would like to see, because it speaks about your skills. That's important for us to understand, and speaks about your passion and interest for the transportation field. And that will be probably the main selection criteria we will be using for the selection. Together with that, we are requesting another document to send. It will be a short video. It will be a sort of video CV, so a self-introduction you will be doing to the school board, and also a sort of video motivation letter. So basically, we want to see you. We would like for you to speak us directly about your passion, your interest in the course, why you would like to ask, and of course, where are you coming from? So a short video introduction, about a minute, 2 minutes, something like this, nothing really.
Even less.
Yeah, the necessary to introduce yourself, who you are, what's your passion and interest, and why you would like to join the course. The requirement, Professor Brevi already spoke in advance, the minimum requirement is to have a bachelor or an equivalent degree. And of course, we will be asking you also this kind of documents. And the course will be in English. So we need from you an upper intermediate level of the language. You don't need to send a certification. If you already have it, put it in the CV, and that will be fine. But we will be asking from you a self-declaration to be included in the CV. And basically, here I made a short list of the documents we will be asking you and where you have to physically upload them. You will be doing the application via the website. So if you connect to TAD page on POLI.design website, that is the one I mentioned here, and I asked Flora to put the link in the chat box. I think all of you go through the POLI.design website to register to the webinar, so you probably know it already. If you use the apply button on the web page, you are requested to create your personal area in the website, where you will be filling in a short form with your personal data, and you will find the field to upload and manage the upload of the documents. And basically, we will need the passport or document about your identity if you are an Italian student, a copy of the diploma and the university transcript. If you have it in English, it's perfect. If you have it in a different language, especially I think about Arabian, Indian languages that are complete, or Russian, for instance, that have a complete different alphabet, please, we do need a translation in English or in Italian if you are already translating, a CV, and the portfolio. You can make a unique document, a unique PDF document with the portfolio of your project in case you have any, and the vehicle drawings portfolio. So where you are telling about your skills and your skills applied to the transportation field, and use the motivation letter field to upload your video. You will be contacted afterwards from our training office that will be sending you updates about the status of your application. So if you passed, if we need some more documents from you and such. And very important about the deadline, for people with a degree, with a foreign degree, the deadline will be the end of January, while for people graduated in Italy and Italian citizen, we have a longer deadline simply because we have less check to do with Italian degrees. So we have a month more, and the deadline will be the end of February. I hope I answered the question for sure. Alan asked me earlier, but I see also someone else asking about the process and what we expect to find in the portfolio. I remember someone was asking about, do you expect to have 3D modeling experience? Of course, it would be helpful if you already know something about 3D modeling, digital sketching, and anything. well, sketching is a requirement that you are able to draw and to express your idea through drawings is definitely a requirement, because it's the basic for the design process, that you are able to express your ideas and to share them properly, so you can explain to the others what you have in mind without having to explain it by word, because the definition Cesar used earlier about the common language design issue fits perfectly. You don't have to explain your project with words. Let the drawings and the sketches speak for you. That's the best, and that's what we expect to have. As for 3D modeling, it's useful if you already know something, but we will cover the subject in the course. And if Professor Brevi wants to add something more about the selection process and the expectation of the master boards, feel free to add any other comment.
Well, I don't think so, because I already replied to some question that arrived while you were speaking on these topics. So I replied, for example, to Davide, that was asking about the possibility to add also some short animation of 3D models in the portfolio, and I replied to him, but because I replied in Italian, I wanted to reply also in English by voice, that of course there is a minimum level that are the requirements that explained Alice, but of course you can add everything you like and you believe could be well done, and it will be seen and evaluated anyway. So the minimum doesn't mean that should be also the maximum. There is a minimum, there isn't a maximum. So feel free to send other stuff that you believe could be of any interest. At the same time, also Alan asked if there are any requirements for the portfolio on the amount of pages or projects. And my reply is that there isn't a minimum as required, but of course, in some way, the amount of sketches is a way also for us to understand the amount of your passion. Because if you have a lot of passion, probably you have also a lot of sketches. If your passion is not so great, probably also the amount of sketches is less. But so there isn't a minimum. But at the same time, is true that a bigger amount probably means a bigger passion. But at the same time, it's better few well done rather than a lot done in a bad way. So I understand that is a sort of way to answer, giving not a simple answer, but I think that Alan maybe have understood what I mean. Anyway, Alana, if you need more information, I see now your reply, sorry. Right, I wanted to know if there was a maximum of pages defined. No, right now I have a 30-page portfolio, thanks for, no, there isn't neither a minimum, neither a maximum. So feel free. It's important, of course, don't send us 100 pages of design portfolios not related with vehicles. About the other projects, could be enough to have 2 or 3 projects just for understanding your way to design. About vehicles, be careful also about the drawings portfolio, because that could be drawings by existing vehicles or drawings by vehicles that are just in your minds. Feel free, no problem. Could be a mixture of real vehicles, or better, rather than real, of existing vehicles and of a fantasy vehicle. And I used the word vehicle and not car because we expect that they could be probably the greatest part could be about cars, but also not necessarily cars. Could be motorbikes, bicycles, rockets, spaceships, what you want, vehicles.
I don't know if you see the other question here.
Just a very quick one,
Yeah.
again, to add on top of that. As we've been talking, having a portfolio is essential, right? If you don't have a portfolio that shows your passion, means that you need to develop that passion. So, but having a portfolio is not only throwing a bunch of sketches in a piece of paper. Usually in a design studio, what we want to see is how you arrive to the end, kind of what is your process thinking, what kind of, so I hate, for example, quick sketch maybe in 2 minutes that people post online just to show how quick you know how to draw. That's not the point, right? So when you're building your portfolio, make sure that you show as well your thinking behind an idea, your inspiration, the form, for example, a speed form that gave a sparkling moment to develop that body side or that whole vehicle. All right, so please be aware of that. So when building your portfolio, make sure that you create those important highlights where we want to see the way you think as well.
Yeah, thanks,
So-
Cesar, because that's a main point. So we are exactly looking to understand what you have in mind, how you do approach the design, and what's your approach to the process. So not only the quality, also of course we are interested in understand your quality, but what you do when you approach the problem is definitely important for us.
And in every single field, if you've came from architecture, if you're coming from industrial design, if you're coming from an engineering background, it's the design process basically the same, ideating, understanding the problem, generating solutions and moving on. So don't be kind of focus on vehicles, of course, in that all sort, but please make sure that you show the way you process the information as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me check if there are any other question. No, I feel no. So I don't know if Alice, do you, oh no, there is a new one. I have a question that can maybe a bit stupid, but I had some problems in my tree here in Poli. And I don't understand the question, Davide, sorry. I included some real brands in the... you are still writing, sorry. Okay.
Okay, in the meantime, I'll be answering to Prasad, who is asking if the it's okay if you include vehicle project in vehicle drawing portfolio, or these two things have to be separated. No, if you the best probably would be to have a unique portfolio with the whole in things you want to show us, and have a unique document with everything. So I'd suggest to make a unique PDF with everything integrated. It doesn't need to have different part of different section. Is up to you how to organize it. If you would like to have something more unique and fluent, do it. Or if you prefer to clearly divide it in section, feel free to do so.
Meanwhile, I understood the question of Davide. He was worried about the opportunity to cancel or to censor in some way logo or brands in the portfolio, but it's not necessary, Davide, because anyway we will not share in any way the material that you will ship us, so don't worry. Okay, let me say that, oh, another question right now. Stanley from Singapore. I'm an innovator, hold the Bachelor of Science degree in Finance, diploma in additive manufacturing, diploma in mechanical and manufacturing engineering. Okay, a lot of diplomas, passionate and enthusiastic in design. Since however, no such course in Singapore during my era. Would like to ask, will I be qualified to enroll in this Master in Transportation Design course before I apply for? Alice, could you share again the last slide of your presentation?
Yes, of course.
Because to reply to the Stanley question, there is a sentence, not the very last, the one before the last one. But maybe I can do by myself. Okay, this one. Stanley, if you look at the requirements, there is stated that different qualifications will be evaluated during the selection process. So it already happened also in the past few times, but it happened that also students coming from different degree that were not industrial design or engineer or architecture attended the course. Once again, the key point is to demonstrate us your passion. So because there are two different steps to consider. There is a formal bureaucratic step that is you need to have at least a bachelor. Doesn't mean which bachelor, but you need to have at least a bachelor for being enrolled in a master course. And this is simply a bureaucratic stuff. So it could be a bachelor in ancient literature or in archaeology or in any different field. Then there is your attitude and your interest and your passion in transportation design, vehicle design, and so on. So if you will submit a great portfolio and a great CV, we are not so strictly interested in the field of your bachelor. hope to have replied to your question. Okay, guys, no, another one just arrived. Okay, thanks. Great, Stanley, and thank you to everybody for attended this online open days meeting. I hope to see all of you in the future here in Milan, and thank you once again, and have a nice time coming for the end of the year.
Yeah,
Thanks everyone as well.
Thank you too, on my part also. And I would like to just add that if you still have other question, or you are having troubles with the process and anything, on the website you will find also the form to request for call, and you can write us. I'll be answering you, and we can also arrange a one-to-one chat together by phone or Skype, or meet us in different ways
Or Zoom.
if you need. Yeah, or Zoom too. So feel free to contact us on the website. Some of you I know already sent emails or already filled in the contact info. So you can write me anytime, and if you have troubles or questions, we can answer them one-to-one. And thank you again. Thank you also, Cesar, for being a guest here and sharing his experience with us.
And his time too.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here again. It's always nice sharing some of the experiences, some of the important moments in our life, and kind of trying to inspire you guys as well. Feel free to contact me if you need to. I'm sure that Professor Brevi and Alice would be able to share some of kind of my contact if you need to know anything else. And yes, Professor Fausto, please feel free to, let's keep in touch, and let's keep talking, and hopefully I'll be able to be in Milan one day to meet you all guys, right? Kind of share again, sketch together, have some ideas together, and talk about design. So it will be a pleasure. That's organized for 2022.
Hope to see you soon, Cesar.
Yeah, I will. I'll be there bothering you. Don't worry.
Thank you, Cesar. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.